Today we will study Employee Assistance Program. This part of the study is basically new in the syllabus or in the purview of the industrial psychology, and it's a new concept, but it's very useful as it is basically an employee assistance program that is voluntary and confidential in nature and that serve the employers that serves the employees, and it's a service provided by the employers. In some cases the family members of the employees also, specifically the dependent members whose well-being can affect the employees' work performance. This helps the employees to deal with the work-related and the personal issues that might affect the workplace attitude, performance, and productivity of the employee. These services are actually free and are not provided at any extra cost, so that the employees can access it without being afraid of incurring more expenses. The Employee Assistance Program counselors are generally outsourced so that they can be available at any convenient time outside the normal working hours. And external counselors also provide a safe and confidential environment for the person in need of help, because they know that we don't know this person. So it's very easy, or it's easier on the part of the employee to open up in front of someone when sharing the problems, the personal problems. It's better, it's safer we are sharing it with someone external to the company and not someone internal to the company. So for this reason, the counselors are generally outsourced. This activity generally includes employee counseling, mental health check, critical incident and trauma debriefing, lifestyle workshops, well-being workshops. It designs various wellness programs to suit the need of the employees. The wellness program, its goal is to fit the need of each employee and to prevent any mental health issue or health challenges. The Employee Assistance Program officials, or we can call it a EAP official, are proactive in identifying the unique scenarios and addressing it in appropriate wellness programs. They also provide weight management or fitness tracking, any substance dependence, de-addiction, that service is also provided, yoga, exercises, practices for stress management, overall lifestyle improvement, then training and consultation for managers and supervisors to address the existing organizational concern. If something needs attention of the organizers or the managers, then the EAP officials immediately take that in the sight of the managers so that that matter can be taken care of. Then connecting to the employees to relevant informations and resources to support personal health and improved work or life balance. If they need some informations regarding how some informations that can actually help in improving their life, that is also provided by the EAP officials. Counseling for mental illness or issues concerning personal or professional life, be it legal problem, interpersonal conflicts or financial difficulties, everything comes under the purview of the EAP or Employee Assistance Program. However, these services are generally designed to support the issues that can be solved in a short time, and if the counselors identify the problem to be much severe or demanding either longer service or specialized service, they have the opportunity to refer the client to other professionals also. Therefore, the EAP psychologist does all the work from assessment, treatment, program development, administration and evaluation to referral source. Now, if we go deep into these functions, then for in case of assessment, whenever a problem is reported to the psychologist's role is to whenever a problem is reported, like someone else is reporting or employee is directly coming to the official for the help, whenever it gets reported, the psychologist's role is to assess the severity of the problem, design a treatment plan, and if needed, referring the client for the more extensive treatment. Their expertise in this field make them apt for this role. Therefore, at the first place, the planning of the program, the management program, whatever is to be, that is specifically designed to meet the need of that person in problem, is done in the assessment phase by the psychologist who is attending that person. Then in treatment, they apply various therapeutic skills depending on the nature of the problem, and they use various techniques to help the client achieve improved behavior patterns. I've already told you all the different types of issues comes under the purview of EAP. That includes conflict resolution, be it family or work, stress management and burnout, substance abuse, health concerns, grief or loss in the family, critical and traumatic incidents. However, any other concern that can have an impact on the work performance of the employee comes under the area of EAP. Like I've not mentioned anything, but it's any other factor that is not mentioned over here but can actually affect the client, his productivity, his work output, that comes under the purview of EAP. Now next is program development. Psychologists are also entitled to tailor-made various programs or activities for prevention or management of certain work-related issues so that they can promote wellness information throughout the organization. Like I've already mentioned before, the psychologists specially design the wellness program activities that is needed or that suits the need of the individual in need. So that is actually tailor-made. It's for individual assessment, it's for individual treatment. So that program is that tailor-made program, that development of the program all comes under the work of the psychologist of EAP. Then in the administration and evaluation, obviously the experienced psychologist or the persons in human resource or healthcare administrations, they are the program evaluators and they use their skills in helping the organization or EAPs with the management and administrative decision and evaluation of the new services. That is, along with the management and the administrative officials, the EAP also evaluate and analyze the new services, that is, new services or the policies of the organization, so that the employees can be helped of that services. And at last, if the employee's problem cannot be solved within the stipulated time frame or within the scene or in that workplace, then the psychologist can refer them to the outside mental health professionals for proper healthcare programs. Now, this EAP program serves to be very useful for the employees because the employees, they gain invaluable coping skills and strategies from this. They develop more satisfied attitude towards the work, and the employers, because they consider themselves more valued and assisted by the employers, this boosts their morale. However, there are many more benefits of EAP, like the support and empowerment it gives to the employees. The employees develop greater coping skills and can handle or manage the stress in more equipped fashion. They gradually develop a more balanced lifestyle. It also helps in increasing productivity of the employees because of the unresolved conflicts that have serious or long or short term effects on the mental or the physical health of an individual that can reduce the productivity. This problem is becomes very detrimental to their productivity, to their work output. For they gradually lose focus or interest in the work because of that problem, that mental or the physical problem they are having. Assessing this, the EAP works as a magic pill to lower the interest. To magic pill to lower the internal conflicts or problems and increase the interest in the work and promote well-being in the employees. That in turn increases the work productivity of the employee. EAP services also reduce absenteeism. This has got a data. According to the National Institute of Mental Health of Melbourne, about 30% of the employee assistance was due to the personal problems. Now, people under pressure or depression generally feels demotivated to work and to interact with others. It causes fatigue and irritability in the concerned person. So, EAP encourages them and equip them actually to fight with the problems and resolve the unresolved issues that promote more adjusted pattern of behavior. EAP also works good in case of employee retention, as it wins loyalty and trust from the employees. They feel very wanted and valued by the employers, so they become more committed to the organization and are less likely to quit the job because they think their problems are a matter of concern for the employers, and so they are so important to the employers. They feel so loved and they feel so wanted that they want to remain in that organization. And this EAP program is also found to be very favorable for the employers also. Now how? Because of these free services offered to the employees, this can significantly lower the work cover claims, especially for the issues such as the work related stress and accidents. In any such issues, the team leaders and the HR teams would not be at blame, as they tried to help the employee in all possible ways, that too not disturbing the work schedule. So this system EAP is not only helping the employees to cope with their problems, but also the employers in various way, so that their work claim covers can also be work cover claims can also be reduced. It actually gets reduced by the use of the EAP. Now we are coming to the development of EAP, how it developed, how it came into existence. Now EAPs or employee assistance programs are employer funded programs. That means employers or the management, they only fund these programs, that is created to help the employees and their families to cope with problems or issues that can affect their job. It developed in 1970, evolving out of the occupational alcohol program that was first started in 1939. In 1980s and 1990s, many employee assistance programs broadened their focus to address personal and the family concerns. Now, till this time, we know that it is very beneficial to the employer and to the employee, obviously. But apart from that, it has also got very many challenges to its development, to its functioning. And what are those? Like assessment and counseling provided by EAP are less comprehensive than psychologists are accustomed to do in other settings, because it is generally for a short tenure. So it's not a very extensive one. So it generally follows a comprehensive method to deal with the problems. Next, there is also a risk of employers using the EAP services as a demand management tool to limit use of the more extensive services. Like, I'm already, if somebody is asking for, I'm going for some counseling sessions, I won't leave, and like that, the management can actually avoid that, or can put an full stop to that by saying ki it's already provided, it's a free service that we are providing, and so by providing this comprehensive technique, that can put a limit to use of these extensive services by what is provided by the health professionals outside the company. Then the psychologist's free will and independent action plans that can be required as a part of the management plan may be controlled or curbed by the company policies or the corporate environment. Now, as psychologists, we always know that specific people have specific needs, and accordingly, we really need tailor-made programs to deal with the problems of different individuals. But in case of EAPs, as the psychologists come under the control of the management or an organization, it might be that the psychologist does not enjoys that free will to decide whatever or what they actually want to do, or what programs they want to implement for their client, because that might go against the company policy. So here the psychologists have to work along with the company policies under the corporate environment. So in that case, the individual will or the psychologist way of dealing with the problems may be controlled by the organization or the management. Next, many times employees doubt the confidentiality of the service provided by the company. Some even try to avoid the stigma associated with seeking help from the mental health professionals. Many of the times they are unaware of the procedure to enroll themselves for such services. Therefore, such dearth of knowledge about the company services create a confusion for which employees do not report the problems or seek the services provided to them. In the beginning, I told you that people are more comfortable with the outsourced psychologists. Why? Because they are unknown faces. So people are more comfortable of sharing their problem with someone whom they don't know, and someone who doesn't recognize them. So their problems won't be public. But so that means it actually assures confidentiality. But as it's a workplace, it might be I'm seeking a professional help, or I'm seeking help from the EAP service. Then there is a concern of that stigma attached to the mental health problems. So people generally try to avoid. They don't report their problems. Many a times they don't report their problems. They don't seek help. They don't take help that they might get for free because of that stigma. As this EAP service is within the campus, they doubt the confidentiality, that they are taking the sessions or they are going for help. That won't be confidential. That will be known to many people, and obviously, as the fear of stigma goes with the person, they generally tend not to report their problems many a times. Then lastly, disability case manager can prove to be very helpful in identifying the problems of the employee and can report it to HR to be conveyed to the EAP team. But many companies do not recruit the disability managers and do not understand that they can work together with the HR and ensure that employees are getting help that they need. Now, when we said about assessment, we said the first step of the service will be to assess that a problem actually exists, a person is in need. Now, this type of assessment can only be done by someone expert in the field, and we can call them a disability manager, the manager who can assess or single out the person with problems with some disability, with some performance problem, with some personal problem, some trauma, some help they need, and their work is to report if they notice some problem in someone. Won't wait for that person to come and tell, but they will directly report it to the HR or the EAP so that that person can get the help. But in most of the situations, in reality, the organizations, they do not recruit these disability managers. They think HR managers or the departments or the managements are enough, and they are doing enough for the benefit of the company. Only by providing EAP, they are doing it all for them. If someone comes for help, then we are eager to help them. But the importance of the disability managers, that they might serve as a bridge between a person of concern, a person who needs help, and the EAP officials, is not recognized till date in most of the companies. So the employee assistance program, if it can be practiced in its true essence, then it is surely of great help to not to the employees but also to the employer and to the proper functioning of the organization, as it helps in improving the productivity of the employees. They are also reducing the turnover of the employees, as most of the time the employees, they get more satisfaction they get more comfortable with such employees who care for them, so they tend to be in that company. So it has got various important implications for the total organizational development, and if it is practiced in its real form, then it is obviously of great help. So this is all about employee assistance program. If you have any doubts regarding this, then you can comment below or directly reach out to me. Thank you, class.